To the journal 11 minutes into 9 a.m. So we often associate success at work with the things that are visible. So the promotions, the impressive titles, the growing responsibility and recognition that comes with being seen as someone who is doing well. But what happens when the career looks successful on paper while the person behind it is exhausted, overwhelmed, and running on fumes? There's a growing conversation about this. The growing conversation is about the hidden cost of achievement and the pressure of keeping up this performative nature that we keep up in the workplace, the difficulty of setting boundaries, and the tendency to measure our worth by how much we can accomplish in the workplace. So let's have a conversation about this and unpack what sustainable success should look like going forward. I've got on the line my guest who's going to help us unpack this, Pepe Minambo, business strategy specialist and human resource consultant, specializing in the field of organizational culture transformation based in Uganda. A pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you very much for your time, Pepe. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mateko. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. This is such an important conversation that actually should be ongoing. And I'm so glad that we're having it on the program. How do we actually distinguish between being healthy when it comes to our approach to ambition and the culture of being an achiever, to us being able to know when to slow down, if that's the right word, when we realize that we're actually becoming exhausted at a cellular level?
Thank you, Mateko. Uh, the difference lies not on how hard people work. I think we live in a society that glorifies overworking, that glorifies busyness. Being busy, it's kind of a label, it's kind of an acknowledgement. How do we distinguish between healthy ambition and a culture of achievements? I think healthy ambition is driven by purpose. Purpose, 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 purpose. I'll refer you, Mateko, to this famous book by Stephen Covey, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about habit number two. He said, begin everything with the end in mind. The end in mind. So you must define what success looks to you. The employer has an achievement, an agenda. The employer has a goal. The employer has a strategy. But then when you come in, you must also be very clear on what success looks to you. Because a culture of unhealthy achievements, on the other hand, quickly equate work with, performance, availability, no boundaries, saying no, threaten career progression, and you are looked upon as someone who is not within the system, who is outside the system. So healthy ambition asks questions like, am I growing? Am I making a meaningful contribution? Can I sustain this pace over a long term? So it starts with purpose, I would say. It starts with purpose. Healthy ambition starts with purpose. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. But I think because our ways of working are changing and changing in very drastic ways, do you think perhaps we need to look at success differently and not just as this individualistic thing, like I'm the one with the title, I'm the one that's sitting in this chair, I am, I am, I am, and look at it perhaps as collective effort so that we're able to be meaningful in how we delegate and how we collaborate, most importantly, and enjoy a shared success, so that we're able to not exhaust ourselves, in the long run.
Absolutely. You look at success as a marathon, not as a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
I think we live in a capitalist world, Mateko, where execution, speed, performance, productivity, they matter a lot. But then, if you are able to do as much as you can to as many people as you can, then you have a bit of latitude to also have what you call work-life balance. Yeah. Now, that is a challenge most professionals are struggling to master because it's about visibility. You want to be visible, want to be available. And visibility nowadays equates progression, visibility equates opportunity, visibility equates positioning, and you have to be everywhere, every time, and
Mm,
all the time.
mm,
So it's a misconception of success. I think
mm,
success can still be achieved by you not being indispensable. And I'll tell you the truth, a lot of professionals are taking this path because they have no tried and tested template of success. They are models of success. They are blueprint. There are people who have achieved success with very healthy relationships with their spouse, with their children, with the community, and with good routines and rituals about their health, their spirituality. So it's a balancing act, Mateko, but not easy to master. Not easy to master. Yeah, not easy to master.
it really is not easy to master. And at this stage, especially if you've been, a head honcho and running organizational cultures for a long time, there's a lot of unlearning to do as well at the same time, which is also requires its own levels of capacity. But let's talk about what workplaces reward, at this time, and perhaps how that can shift. Are we rewarding the wrong behaviors? People constantly being available, people constantly on the phone with you and answering emails at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning on a daily basis, just these highly strung, ways of being. Are companies still rewarding that? And if they are, how can that shift into something that is more wholesome, something that is more sustainable, and something that is just healthy for one's physiology and workplace dynamic?
Thank you, Mitseko. So I'll tell you from a perspective of an HR professional, HR consultant, there's something called organizational design. Organizations have to be intentional to design work environments. And I'll tell you, a lot of people come into workplaces, they have a sense of work balance, work-life balance, they have a sense of boundaries, they have a sense of when to say no, but the environment itself forces you to behave that way. Because when you leave early, you feel guilty because everybody's there. When you come at 8 o'clock, everybody has come at 7. So organizations have a great responsibility. I'll tell you, I'm a culture specialist. So there is something called uh, a culture audit. So you must first of all audit your culture. What is your culture like? Is it a culture defined as a marketplace culture? Is it a culture defined as a high performance, high productivity culture? So the culture of the organization conditions people to behave in a certain way. But I'll tell you something. So there's one organization called Safaricom. Safaricom is based in Kenya. It was voted by Forbes magazine as the best employer in Africa 4 years ago. They sat down and said, look here, as much as we are a tech company, over 30 million clients, meaning you have to be on phone from morning till evening. You have to have shifts night and day. You have to be all over the country flying. They say we must design a workplace that is healthy, that is sustainable. So they redefined their values as an organization and they created a value called humanist, Mateko. So humanist says be 100% human at work. Humanists say the person that comes to work as a radio presenter is also a wife, is also a mother,
Mm,
is also a firstborn in the family, is also a community member.
yeah.
So they are trying to create what we call employee well-being agenda, and it's called EAP. EAP is Employee Assistance Program. So organizations have the responsibility to create what we call employee assistance programs to drive the wellness agenda and to rethink their values and to redefine cultures that are very sustainable. I will tell you, employees are just a victim of the ecosystem they operate in.
Mm,
It's called in psychology the social learning theory. People learn behaviors by observing others and especially in authority. Because Mateko, if your CEO comes at 6 a.m. and you're the PA, how do you come at 8? You come at 5:45. If
yeah.
your CEO leaves at 8 p.m. and you are the next in command, you feel guilty to leave at 5 to go have dinner with your family. So I'll tell you, everything you see today, the context, the tone is being set from the top. As I always say, culture is the tone at the top and the vibe at the bottom. The vibe you feel at the bottom, Mateko, has been set by a tone at the top. So if you want to change this context, the context has to be changed from the top. As long as the top is hardworking, over pushing, the bottom will play the same rhythm because we say monkey see, monkey do. That's what's happening, Mateko.
That makes a lot of sense. You know, what is happening at the top is essentially the conductor for the entire orchestra within the organization. So we're unpacking some very important themes here. We will look at what success looks like. What is success at this day and age? The hidden cost of these achievements. Pepe is talking about something that is also very close to my heart: workplace culture. Okay, and that's often so neglected. And we're also looking at the boundaries and performance that come with all of that. 21 minutes into 9 a.m., we take a break and return.
Drivers, that smoke ahead is not just smoke. It's a wall, thick, blinding, and deadly. Never drive into felt fire smoke crossing the highway. You won't see stopped vehicles until it's too late. Pull over, turn on your hazards, wait it out. One decision can save lives, including yours. See and be seen this winter. Brought to you by the National Department of Transport.
Africa World Hour with Mposi Tole.
Kiswahili is one of the most widely spoken languages in Africa, connecting millions of people across East, Central, and Southern Africa. What does World Kiswahili Day mean?
Swahili Language Day holds a deep meaning for us as a country, as Uganda, and all our people really recognize this. It's a day that celebrates not just a language, but a powerful symbol of our shared African identity, resilience, and aspiration for unity. Swahili is far more than just a foreign language or foreign tongue. It is our second official language. It is enshrined in the 1995 Constitution and is also a vital bridge that connects us to our brothers and sisters across the East African community and even the broader continent.
Africa World Hour with Mposi Tole. Catch it on the Channel Africa app, SABC Plus, and on channelafrica.co.za. Weekdays from 9 till 10 p.m. Central African Time. What happened and what it means. The Journal with Matseko Musito, 9 till 12 p.m. Central African Time on Channel Africa.
Well, thank you very much for staying with us. If you've been here since the start of this conversation, as we continue to unpack the hidden cost of these achievements in the workplace. And my special guest is our expert looking at this holistically. I mean, we've unpacked so much looking at the themes of workplace culture, themes of, you know, what it actually costs us physically, mentally, emotionally to be great achievers, and what needs to shape in our perspectives around leadership. Pepe Minambo is joining me. He is a business strategy specialist and a human resource consultant specializing in the field of organizational culture transformation. He's based in Uganda, but obviously consultative measures can be executed anywhere in the world. Pepe, let's talk about something that really makes me very upset. And I think that people need to take responsibility for how they show up in these workplaces, whether they are in positions of leadership or whether they are employees being guided by someone. Are we too quick to have these burnout conversations and how overwhelmed we are because we're too quick to step into wanting to do really big things without having done the small groundwork and done that properly? Do you find that that is a common theme in these cultures and ways of working, where people are so quick to want to go and host an event at the Dome with 100,000 people, and you haven't really done the groundwork to do the little things correctly?
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Mateko. You know, in the era of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, everything becomes possible. So people also have that tendency that they can do anything. But you realize that a lot of people are so, allow me to use this word, uncooked. They are so unprepared. They are so not ready. There is lack of maturity of certain sorts in doing certain things. There is need, Mateko, of mentorship. There is a lot of need of coaching. And there's a lot
Yeah.
of need for people to have what I call surrogates. So in my latest book, by the way, I was in Cape Town last week, but one.
Mm.
I was speaking to an HR conference on employee experience and on culture. So I talked about a model for career growth that is sustainable, because sometimes what people do is not sustainable because you don't have the weight, you don't have the substance to sustain what you want to do. And the general public eventually will notice that and it will catch up with you. So I say there's a model called MCSPS. So M stand for mentor, C stand for coach, S stand for sponsor, and P stand for pay setter, and the last S stand for a surrogate. So I say for anyone to have a sustainable career, Mateko, for anyone to do something significant, something impactful, you need to follow a certain template. You must have a mentor. A mentor is simply a blueprint, a model that you aspire to achieve, because a mentor's reality is your future aspiration. So a mentor is what you aspire to become. Who is your mentor? Who has done what you want to do before? Then number two, you need a coach. A coach is a catalyst. A coach is a midwife. You are pregnant with this big dream to go to the dome of 100,000 people, to travel the world, to build this venture. But do you have someone who can help you give birth to that dream? So a woman can have a healthy pregnancy, but a poor midwife can compromise the birth and the child dies. So you see a lot of young people running left, right, center. You ask them, who is your mentor? Which model are you following? Who is your role model? Do you have a coach? No coach. Then you need a sponsor. Who is a sponsor, Mateko? A sponsor is someone who has access to places you have no access to. A sponsor is someone who has contact, who has leverage and relationships in levels that you will never access. So you need someone to speak for you, someone to fight your battle, someone to bite your bullet. Then you need a pay setter. Now, pay setters can be deceiving. Pay setters are friends. Pay setters are families, ecosystem that cheers you up, say, go, 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 go. But sometimes they give you wings when you have no landing gears. So a lot of people are running on empty. They're running on fumes because they have surrounded by, no, social media is a pay setter. They are saying, go for it. So and so did it. Then lastly, you need a surrogate. Who is a surrogate, Mateko? A surrogate is someone who could be, number one, a mentor. The same person is a coach. The same person is a pay setter, and the same person is a sponsor. They carry you on their shoulder. They show you the path. They warn you on the dangers, and they take you on their shoulders to where you belong. So a lot of unsustainable growth, unsustainable success that are like popcorns, they are like fast food, they pop up and they disappear, is because people have no template they are following.
Yeah.
No mentor, no coach, no surrogate, no sponsor, no pay setter. So success follows a model because success leaves clues. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to agree with that. That makes absolutely no sense to just wing it through everything. I really just don't understand. But thank you for that, because I think in this particular context, you have served as a mentor for many who are able to catch this conversation. But just in like 10 seconds, 20 seconds tops, is it possible to build a successful career without sacrificing one's health, relationships, and personal life in this day and age?
I'll tell you, Mateko, success can cost you anything. Success can cost you your health, physical,
Yeah.
mental health. You go into depression, you see people drinking, people going to drugs because of the pressure of success, pressure of performance. Success will cost you your marriage. Success will cost you friends. Success will cost you your home. Success can cost you anything if you don't have a good balance around you. That's why I say it is possible to achieve success without losing all these things if you have a model that you are following. There are people that have become so successful without losing their mental health, without losing their physical health, without losing their homes, without even losing their humanity. But there are also those who have become successful at the expense of all these things. They've lost everything to become successful, and then they break down. So my challenge and my advice to all our listeners, Mateko, would be find a code, find a template, find a blueprint of someone who has made it to the top, but still standing, still balanced, still healthy. And there are many of them out there. Thank you, Mateko.
Thank you very much, Pepe. Pepe has actually authored more than one book, and if you just go online, you'll be able
11
to
books.
get
11 books.
11 books. 11. Oh my goodness. In my head, it's like 5 books. That is amazing. One of them is Beyond Limits. Okay, perhaps that's a good place for you to start. But if you go online and just type Pepe Minambo books, okay, all the resources of his books are on there. And this is the thing, is mentorship can come in so many shapes and forms, and books are definitely one of them. Pepe, thank you very much for the time and your contribution as always. Thank you.
My pleasure, Mateko. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pepe Minambo, business strategy specialist, really giving us insights into the hidden cost of achievement at this time. 9:31, we say very good morning to Figile Lungwati, standing by with the latest sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.